Well, good afternoon and good morning, depending upon what place in the world you are today. And welcome to today's webinar. Just to introduce myself, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve Loates, and I am the co-owner of AIS Solutions, which is a bookkeeping and QuickBooks training firm, and of course Ninja Network, which is an education and coaching community specifically designed for bookkeepers and accountants. I'm also very proud that this past November, AIS Solutions and Ninja Network were selected as Intuit's Global Firm of the Future. And we're honored. We are the first Canadian firm ever to achieve this success. So 2017 was an awesome year. Anyway, you didn't come here to hear about that. You came to learn about some email marketing. Now, I should also tell you that this is a bit of a first for me as well. And I'm sure you're all going to be extremely jealous. But today's webinar is actually being brought to you from Mexico. That was not the plan initially, but there was a great last minute deal. And since we run our firm from the cloud, we can do that from anywhere. And obviously we can do webinars from anywhere. So if you get some dead air later on in the webinar, we can perhaps blame it on the internet connection. However, it may be just me dozing off looking at the ocean here off the balcony. So I'm sure you're all feeling really, really sorry for me at the moment. But don't worry about it. I will be fine. And obviously for all of those of you who are still thinking about or waiting to move their firm to the cloud, here's just one more great reason why you really do need to be doing that. Anyway, email marketing, something that is near and dear to my heart. I think it was Mark Twain that said, "The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated." Always brings a little smile to my face. And I very often hear the same thing said about email, which is why I think about that quote. However, it has been my experience that email marketing is still very much alive and well. I have been involved in email marketing, both doing email marketing for our own businesses and also coaching email marketing since 2003. So right at the very beginning of email marketing 15 years ago. And today we're going to look at the opportunities that are in email marketing. We're going to look at the challenges around using email marketing because there are challenges as well. In fact, we're not only going to talk about why you must be using email marketing, at least in my opinion, but we will also talk about some of the tools that will help you. We're also going to give you some actionable takeaways that will help you immediately. And if everything goes according to plan and schedule, we have left time at the end for some Q&A. So please make a list of your questions as we go through today's session. And again, before we get started, I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Shannon, who has been my assistant in helping put these together. She's done an awesome job. Couldn't be doing it without her. Thank you to Intuit for making this possible. And of course, thank you to all of you for taking time out of your busy day. So we'll try to make sure you get some value from this. So let's get started. And I guess the first thing is, what is email marketing? And for many of us, it is a love-hate relationship, right, with email. Also, why must you be using it? Is it still an effective tool? We're going to talk a little bit too about the Canada anti-spam law, which seems to cause a lot of concern around people when it comes to email marketing. We're also going to touch a little bit on the new GDPR for the EU, which goes into effect May 25th. And then we're going to talk about some of the things that you must be doing to have successful email marketing. We'll look at some of the tools. I'll make my recommendations to you. And we're also going to talk a little bit about what features the tools must have in order to be an effective tool for you. And then, like I say, at the end, we will be leaving some time for the Q&A. So let's begin this session again with a quote, and it really is one of I think one of the best quotes about the world of email marketing, and that is that email has an ability many channels do not, and that is creating valuable personal touches at scale. Now, is he right? Well, what other marketing channel, if we think about all of the things that are out there, allows you to share information of value to your audience with a personal touch? And it is also as easy to reach one as it is to reach 10,000. The other very important truth about email is it is still, and has been for quite some time, in every single marketing study that is ever performed about digital marketing, email always comes out as the lowest cost and the highest return on investment of any type of digital marketing. And I think with those two things, it should get your attention right there, right? Lowest cost and highest return. Add to those facts the following important point, at least I believe. Unlike social media, email has a much greater chance of reaching your audience because you are sending it directly into someone's inbox. And perhaps the most important point of all, you control the channel. Unlike your social media audience, you own your email list. You do not own your followers on Twitter. You do not own the people who follow you on Facebook. And as Facebook continues to make changes and adjust their algorithms, they are making it more and more difficult to reach an audience without spending money on Facebook advertising. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think those are viable options, but it does fascinate me how we still seem to give so much more time and attention to social media, and often email marketing becomes the poor cousin that nobody talks about and not enough are using. Like I say, when it comes to email, you can reach their inbox just as easily as you ever could, as long as they have opted to be on your list. And we'll talk about this opt-in thing a little bit later in the webinar. So my conclusion, ignore including email marketing as part of your digital marketing strategy at your own peril. Email marketing is the glue that holds everything else together when it comes to your marketing, and it's going nowhere soon. All of the predictions are that over the next few years, email marketing is still going to continue to grow at a rate of 15 to 20% a year. So, in email marketing, what are the opportunities? You know, it's not just about sending a message to a group of people using email. It really is more the use of email to help develop and nurture relationships with your audience, to build loyalty and trust by that consistent communication. And remember, right? People do business with those they know, like, and trust. And email is a great tool for helping people get to know you, to become loyal, and to trust you. It's also a great way of increasing your brand awareness, staying top of mind with newsletters and value add campaigns. And and of course to promote and sell your service. And I just want to share a personal story about this increasing brand awareness and staying top of mind. It was about a year and a half ago. I do the sales, the business development for our bookkeeping firm, AIS Solutions. And I was speaking with someone who we were trying to get them as a new client. Anyway, we were not successful. They made a decision to go with someone else at that time. I asked them, I told them we had a newsletter we send out monthly. We have lots of helpful information in there for small business owners such as yourself. And even though we're not doing business together now, do you mind if I continue sending you this newsletter? And they said, no, by all means. And I said, you can unsubscribe whenever you like. So we started sending them the newsletter. Anyway, long story short, they came back to us about 15 months later and became a client. And they said one of the main reasons they did that, obviously they weren't happy with their first choice, but because of we stayed top of mind with them, that although they were not working with us directly, they kept getting our newsletter, they liked what they saw, they got to know us a little, felt they could trust us, and felt that the newsletter was the number one reason they came back to us. So to me, that is just, and you know, I've heard that story over and over, but that is just one of the most powerful things, or the more powerful things you can do with email that is very, very difficult, if not impossible, to do with any other channel. So keep that in mind. Now, those are some of the opportunities, but there are challenges, right? Now, probably the number one challenge for all of us, right? Too much email. You know, my inbox is overflowing all the time. You know, we're in danger of email overload. So that's one big challenge. It's also challenging sometimes, you know, for many of us who, you know, are not really marketing people. Where do I come up with the ideas? Where do I come up with the content to put in my email and in my newsletters? So that's also a very legitimate challenge. The anti-spam laws. Again, we're going to touch on that a little bit more, but the Canadian anti-spam law, the CASL, is the strongest anti-spam law on the planet. There are certain things you must do. And again, we will talk about those later on. And then the other challenge for many is, the other challenge is I have no email list. Obviously, you know, how do you start doing your email marketing if you have no list? Well, step one is to start building that list. You can always build the list, and you don't need a huge list of email addresses to begin effective email marketing. So please don't let that stop you if you think, oh, you know, I can't do that. You know, I only have about 25, 30 people on my list. Absolutely, you can do it, and you can get started. What are the benefits of your firm with email marketing? You know, because to me, they far outweigh any of the challenges. And I think the first one is email marketing, unlike any other marketing channel, you can personalize it, right? You can send an email if you're using the right tools to 100 people, 10 people, 1,000 people, and personalize every single one of them with the click of a button. So very easy. You can also segment your email so that you can divide your list into different segments and send specific information to specific audiences so that, again, you're personalizing your message. There is no dear occupant when it comes to email marketing, and you can't do that with social media. You can reduce your marketing and your advertising costs. Again, you know, it is getting more and more expensive for Google AdWords, for Facebook advertising, Twitter, LinkedIn advertising. Email marketing, very, very economical, and certainly can help reduce your marketing costs. can generate more leads, as I used in, just my example about the newsletter, and can certainly save you time and shorten your sales cycle by keeping that consistent communication with them. You can also save time through automation. You can set up what are called autoresponders in email. And what an autoresponder is simply an email that gets sent automatically and is triggered by an event. For example, you could start out with your list of clients. You could get their birthday, for example, or the anniversary in which they became a client of yours. And you can write one email, birthday greetings or anniversary, that gets sent out automatically, personalized on the date of their birthday or client anniversary. So basically you write it once, then you forget about it. When the date comes up of their birthday, the email goes to them. And again, what does that do for your relationship with them when they think, that you're taking you've taken the time and trouble to write this personalized email? You can build a community. Like I said, the big thing with email marketing is you own the list, right? Not like with social media. If you've got all these followers on Twitter, and a few months from now, Twitter change all the rules, all the game, and those followers are you're no longer able to market to them. You lost all of that flexibility and power in your marketing, which you don't through email marketing. And like I said, the cost of online ads, content marketing, social media, although they're all viable methods of extending your messages, the problem with those tactics is, sometimes cost, but even though they give you reach to your audience, it's not reliable reach, not like email marketing. That distinction truly belongs to tried and true email marketing. Assuming that their address is legitimate, that the mail servers are functioning, and they opted into your list, the fact is that if you send your customers an email, they will receive it. Now, they may not open it, they may not click on it, they may not read it, but the email will reach them. This is a feature of email that just cannot be matched with any other platform. We may extend, some slack here to text messaging apps because that's a possible exception, but that's a topic for a different webinar. And as spam filters become more and more refined and work better, there will be less and less of the email you're sending that ends up in junk mail by accident. So I hope you're getting the message from me to this point. I am a huge fan of email marketing because it has just shown me over and over again how effective it is for small business. So, before we take a look at some of the things you must do in your email marketing for it to be successful, let's take a look at this crazy thing, this Canadian anti-spam law, which it was a great idea. And it really did put a lot of fear into the world of email and email marketing. People seem really concerned about it, but the truth is, if you use your common sense, if you are legitimately trying to help people and not just sell them stuff, if they have opted into your list and you make it easy for them to unsubscribe, you will not have a problem. So the Canadian anti-spam law, it applies to email, actually applies to social networks and text messages as well, although we usually only talk about it for email. First of all, giving you a business card at a conference is not permission to send them email marketing in the eyes of the CASL. Um, I mean, does it actually prohibit you from sending marketing messages? No, not at all. Rather, what it does is it sets out requirements for you sending a commercial electronic message to an electronic address. If you are sending this commercial electronic message like email to an electronic address, then you need to comply with these requirements. First of all, you must get their permission. And like I said, giving you a business card at a conference is not permission in the eyes of CASL. Every email you send them must include an unsubscribe link. It must be very easy to find. You can't hide it in the email. And that unsubscribe link must work in a way that once they unsubscribe, you can never put them back on your list with that same email address. And you must always include the name and your name and address of your business as the sender, so people know exactly who this email is coming from. And the onus is on the person who claims they had consent to prove they have such consent. Again, use common sense. Treat your subscriber's inbox as if it was your own. And if you do that, have your unsubscribe link, put your name and address, you will have very, very little problems with that. Before we leave this topic, let's just touch just a little bit on this GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation, which comes into effect on May the 25th. You may have heard about it in the news. It really is a collection of new regulations coming into effect in the European Union. And it basically governs how organizations, businesses process data. It is far more reaching than CASL. And basically, when it comes to email and the DGPR, you must make sure you have a record of the people you were sending an email to. You must have a record of them opting into your list. And that can be done in the form of when they sign up for your list, there's a checkbox there that they have to check off, or that an email you send them asking for permission, they actually have to click on a link basically saying, yes, you can send things to me. Now, this will only apply to us really if you have email addresses in the EU that subscribe to your email list. So if you just do your email marketing locally, it's not something you need to worry about at this point in time. But I do have one disclaimer here. I am not a lawyer. I am by no means a legal expert, and I am not qualified to provide legal advice on either the CASL or the DGPR. So if you have a question or you have a specific concern about it, I really strongly recommend that you do speak with a qualified legal expert. There are people that that is their only function is their expertise and advice in developing strategy to make sure you stay compliant with those things. So before we take a look at the tools, let's be clear, because I think this is, I think this part is actually more important than the tools. It's very important that we understand what we need to do to be successful at your email marketing, right? You can have the greatest tool in the world. You can have the biggest email list in the world. But if you're not following the right strategies and doing the right things, you're not going to have success. So let's make sure we're very, very clear on those things first. So the keys to success, and we'll do an overview first, and then we'll do a little deeper dive into each one of them. So number one, never stop building your list. I mean, this may seem obvious, but really to be effective in email marketing, you've always got to be making it easy for people to sign up to your list. You must be thinking about this all the time when you do different marketing campaigns. How can these people sign up for my list? Is it easy for them to sign up? For example, on your website, which is probably the most effective way of signing people up to your list, the best way is to offer what I call a freemium. Freemium meaning it's free and has premium value. For example, if you go to the AIS Solutions website at aissolutions.ca, you will see right on our homepage, right in the middle of the page, there's an offer there where they can download a free ebook in exchange for their email address. And so we also do that same thing after every blog post we send out. We have a sign up at the end of every blog post. So we're offering them something in exchange for sharing their email list. Always remember to only send information of value to them. I see so often, where I see newsletters, I see emails, I get them myself, where it's all about the person sending the email. That, in my opinion, that is completely wrong. I don't care. What are you offering to help me? If you are going to send something into my inbox, there has to be an expectation from me that there's some value there. Otherwise, A, why would I open it? And B, why would I let you keep sending things to me? So always remember, the information you were sending is to be of value to your audience. Always, always, always personalize it. And segment wherever you can, so that you're making sure you're sending the right information to the right people. Always, always be mobile friendly. Today, over 50% of all emails are opened and read on a smartphone. So you have to make sure that the email you're sending is very easy to read on a mobile device. Play the long game. What do I mean by that? Don't rush it. It's develop a relationship first before you have any expectations from your audience. Test and measure, which is one of the great things email marketing tools can do for you. Is what you were doing working? Are people reading it? Do they want more of that type of information? Always test and measure. And clean your list regularly. And what do I mean by that? It's far more important to have a small list of people who are interacting with your emails than have this huge list that really impresses you every time you see the number, and less than 10% of the list is active with you. So once a year, I recommend cleaning your list, and there are services that do that. But let's just take a little bigger dive here into each one. So like I say, on your list building, ask them to sign up everywhere, on your website, on your Facebook page, if you have a Facebook page, which, by the way, you should have a Facebook business page, but have a sign up for your list. Put a link in your email signature, right? Every time you send out an email, make it easy for them to just click on that link and sign up. Here's one a little controversial, I know, but my goodness, it works. Pop-ups on your website. There are lots of tools out there. If you just Google pop-ups on my website, there are lots of them out there where, you go to that website and you get that annoying pop-up, where the little box comes up. Would you like to sign up for our so-and-so? Give me your name and your email address. And I know all I hear from people all the time is, I hate those things. I would never do that. Well, guess what? The science and the metrics tell us something different. They tell us that when you start using those on your website, your list grows. So, although everybody says they hate them, I recommend you give them a try. They do work. And remember, when it comes to your list building, always offer something of value in exchange for their email address. This can be in the form of an ebook, white paper, access to a private video, etc. But make sure that you give them something they would find valuable in order for them to give you their email address. And let's spend just a minute here talking about, I've mentioned the term opt-in a couple of times through the webinar. And what do we mean by that? And particularly when it comes to your email list. All it means is that you cannot send commercial or marketing email to people unless they have indicated they want to receive it from you. This permission or opt-in can be obtained by having them simply click a link or put a check mark, as I said, in a checkbox. For example, you go to the AIS website. I mentioned our sign up, and I think right now we're offering, obviously our target are small business owners, so we are offering an ebook on different ways to help your cash flow in your business. That's something of value to most small business owners. They give us their first name, they give us their email address, and when they click on, please send me the ebook, they are then giving us permission. They're opting in to our list. And like I say, as I mentioned, when it comes to your list, it is not about the numbers. It is not about how big the list is. It is about the quality of the list. It is about how interactive are these people with you. Always keep that in mind. So never ever be discouraged because you don't feel like you have a big enough email list. Now, sending information of value to them. As we mentioned, if your customers trust you to only send them important and useful information, they will open your emails because you develop that relationship. If you breach that trust by sending them content that they are not interested in, or that just makes unwarranted calls on their attention, they will send your email straight to the spam folder, or worse still, they'll unsubscribe. So do not take advantage of it. Again, be careful what you send them, right? You have to give them an easy way to opt out if you want to stay in compliance. So you must make sure that what you are sending them is of value to them. And as I said earlier, the best advice I can give you is to treat their inbox as if it was yours and be patient. Think of email marketing like you would dating, right? You need to develop a relationship first before you try to sell them any of your services. And think of email marketing exactly the same way. Always personalize. Always use their name in every email correspondence. Ask them questions. Try to learn about them. You can do little mini surveys that'll help you learn their interests, their challenges, the pain points with their business. And as they see you are trying to learn about them and in turn begin sending them information to help them address those pain points, again, you start developing a relationship of trust and loyalty as they get to know you, which means they're then much more likely to do business with you or continue doing business with you. Test and measure we talked about, right? Figure out what is the best day to send your email? You know, when do you get the most emails opened? What time of the day? Is it first thing in the morning? Is it later in the day? Split test things, you know, different subject lines on your emails, different copy, different calls to action. Try different things, right? Until you learn what your audience responds to and what makes your email marketing work the best. Some other tips about email marketing, and I cannot emphasize this one enough. The subject line you use in every email you send out is at least 80% of the success. It is what determines whether they open the email or not. So spend time on it. If you want some ideas, just simply Google best email subject lines and you will get more ideas than you ever thought of for great subject lines. But right, remember, think about it. When you look at your own inbox and you've got a bunch of emails there, all you really see is who is it from and the subject line. And quite often, what determines whether you click on that email or not is only the subject line. So don't spend all your time writing these great email messages that you want people to read and then just throw a subject line on there. Spend some time creating something unique, something a little bit different, so that they will open your email and read that fantastic message you just created. Remember, subject line is at least 80% of your success in email marketing. Another thing with email marketing, never send large attachments as part of a campaign. That is a real trigger for spam. So use a link in your email and that they can click on that link, which will take them to a page on your website where they can download that attachment. You'll have a much higher delivery rate with your email marketing. Another one, and I see this one a lot, but you've got to be really careful here. Do not include inside your email copy URLs for people to click on. Use what we call hyperlinks, and I'll give you an example of what I mean here. Instead of saying, go to my website, www.aissolutions.ca, and having them click on that, you will have much higher deliverability, much less chance of it being made out to be spam if you put in your email, visit my website here, and attach a link to your website or website here. Your email is much more likely to go through. So it's a small thing, but it really can help that deliverability. Try not to put the URL's address specifically in the email. Another one that I see, and this is another thing that will trigger spam, is do not include the same link in the same email more than one time. That is a huge, huge trigger for spam. And finally, as I said, clean your email list regularly. It's not about how many are on the list, it is how many interact with you. Two of the best known services for doing this, and it's very economical. It's usually, I think, like they charge 1 cent per email address. There's one called Never Bounce, or there's another one called Email List Verify. So that's Never Bounce or Email List Verify. They're both excellent services. And all you do is you upload your email list to them and they process it. And anyone they cannot verify, they remove from your list. And like I say, it's something we do with our list at least once a year. Now, choosing the right tool for the right job. Now, one of the questions I get asked quite often when it comes to email marketing is, you know, Steve, why can I not just use my Outlook or my Gmail? What do I need one of these other things for? Well, Couple of reasons. First of all, never use Outlook or Gmail to do your email marketing. And the two most important reasons are that with the new anti-spam laws in effect, one of the standards included providing a place where readers can opt out of receiving future emails. Email marketing management services, Constant Contact, MailChimp, make sure you are following all these standards by adding these items automatically into every email you send out through your account. If you're trying to use Gmail or Outlook and you want to send out, 50 or 100 emails a week, you just can't do that. So that's one of the most important tools. And if you repeatedly send bulk emails directly from your Yahoo, Gmail, or Outlook, then you could have your email address shut down by that email provider or even by your own internet service provider, because you will look like you are doing what's called spammy practices. Email marketing service provider companies are trusted within the email community, and they keep a good eye on everyone who is an account holder to make sure there's no funny business and there's no spamming going on. They're very economical, so please do not use your Outlook, your Gmail, or Yahoo, or Hotmail. Use an email marketing management service. So the first thing, make sure that whatever tool it is you're using, make sure it is very easy to personalize all your emails. Whether it is one, whether it is 100 or 1,000, that it is very easy to personalize them very quickly with one click. You'll know it's working when you send out an email to 1,000 people and it's the same email, but it was, Dear Mary, Dear Joan, Dear Fred. When people start answering you from that email, you know it's working because they don't know they were sent a standard email message that was sent to a number of people simply because it had their name on it. It was personalized. Make sure whatever tool it is allows you to segment your list, that you can segment it or divide it up into sections by area of interest, maybe area by industry, maybe even by location. This will then allow you to send different emails to different segments and personalize your marketing even further. And the more personalized you can get, the more effective and the greater return you will see on your email marketing. A/B testing. Again, find the best days and times for your open rate. And this only comes by testing and experience. You'll read these articles where they'll say, the best time to send your email is, Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. or Thursday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Nonsense. It's your list. These are your people. Test it. Find out when you send out your newsletter, over time, send it out on different days at different times until you see which one gets you the highest open rate, which one gets you the most interaction. And like I say, the tool should be able to provide you a way of doing that. Automation. I talked on autoresponders, birthday wishes, client anniversaries, but also sending email at pre-scheduled time. You sign up a new client, you should be able to send them an automatic thank you email, 14 days or 21 days after they've signed up with you, thanking them again for joining you. All kinds of things. Auto reminders, when it's coming up to tax season. Please don't leave it to the last minute because nobody does that, right? You guys all know you get all your tax stuff in lots of time. Email marketing can help alleviate some of that by sending out automatic reminders that you have written ahead of time and scheduled to go out on pre-selected dates. One of the best features of email marketing, again, is the analytics. That a great email marketing management tool will be able to show you how many people opened your email, how many people clicked on it, how many unsubscribed. So you can see what is working, what is the kind of content my audience is liking me to send to them. So you can then arrange to send more of it. Make sure that your tool has great professional looking, easy to use email templates. Should be very professional, should be very easy to put your branding and your colors into it so it looks, and matches all the rest of your branding. Must be mobile friendly. It must be able to give you the templates. Website integration. Does the tool allow you to create a form that you can put on your website to get people to sign up for your newsletter, and that when they sign up on your website, all of that information automatically goes into your email marketing tool so you can forget about it. And many of them allow you to do that. Does it allow you to put a form on your Facebook page and do the same thing? So those are some of the key things that, regardless of what tool you decide is the one that is best for you, make sure it can do all of these things for you. It'll make your email marketing far more effective and give you a much better ROI. So, many great tools, and here are just a few. I mean, there are literally, last time I Googled email marketing tools, my goodness, I don't know how many there were, but there were lots. I've just put up on the screen here the most popular, the ones that lots of people have heard of. The list on the left are sort of entry level to mid-range email marketing tools. Every one of those tools features all the features I mentioned on our previous slide. And the email tools on the right-hand side, the Infusionsoft, Entreport, are more of a medium to high-end range. They're more expensive, but give you some very powerful tools for growing your business using email. Now, what would I recommend you start with? If you are new to email marketing, I highly recommend MailChimp. It's not necessarily the best, but does everything you need it to do, easy to use, but most of all, when you're just starting out, they have a forever free option. I think you can send up to 2,000 email. You can have up to 2,000 email addresses, and you can send out up to 10,000 emails a month for free. So again, it doesn't get much better than free, right, gang? And it has all the features we talked about. So that's where I would start. Like I say, any one of those tools will give you everything you need to get started. If you've been doing it a while and you're looking to move up to something that is a little more robust, offers a little more power, then take a look at the Entreport Infusionsoft tools there. That, gang, is about it for our email marketing. And we've got about 10 minutes left here for questions. And so if you've got any questions, perhaps Shannon, you could read them out to me. The other thing I should mention, again, thank you very much for joining me and taking part out of your busy day. I sincerely hope you got some value here. And here is the next webinar coming up on June 7th. Highly recommend that webinar. I know the instructor personally, and she is awesome. And just because she is my wife, that doesn't mean she made me say that. But she does a really super job. And if you're looking with help streamlining your practice, check out that webinar. And now I'll see, are there any questions for me?
Thank you so much, Steve, for another great webinar. I'm sure everyone, as well as myself, found that very beneficial. I don't see any questions coming up, but we do have a few comments. One person has said, "Hello, you are funny." And
Okay.
there is another comment that says, "Great session, thank you so much." So if anyone else has any final questions, please write them in the little question box now, and we'll be able to get you answers.
Sure. And if you think of a question after the webinar, please feel free to send me an email. My email address is steve@AIS Solutions. There's two S's there, aissolutions.ca. And I'll be happy to try and answer it for you after the webinar. I may wait until I get back from my little sunny break here in Mexico, but I absolutely will answer it for you.
Okay, great. Well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. Just a few more thank yous are coming through, Steve. So
Okay.
thank you again so much for everything, and enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Thank you very much. And everyone, take care. Bye for now.